Good morning. Today is December 2nd, 2021. This is recording 293. The title of this message is By Your Words. By your words. There is one law throughout the universe, just one. We may give it many names. We may call it infinite. We may call it eternal. We may call it God. We may call it, you name it, everlasting. But nonetheless, it is one law. I have no idea what that law calls itself, but it is one, and it knows itself to be one, considering no other laws. By this law are all things brought into being or brought into expression. Man does not have the ability to create anything, even the symbolic things or the material or things that we see here. They all are based on that one law or the recognition of a power source that energizes all things and brings into form. Recognition of and unconditional belief in its absolute authority is the victory that overcomes every issue of the world. And you might ask then, why do we have to deal with issues? I don't know. I can't answer that. I only know that we do, and I know or are coming to a firm foundation that there is one law that overcomes every issue. This law is called conscious union with God. By this law, every issue is maintained and put aside. We are told that in the world we shall face many trials, many tribulations. But the Master said, be of good cheer, because he had overcome the world. That should be our first gold nugget, because if you can hear what he's saying beneath what he's saying that there is no issue that can come against you that I have not overcome, and because I have overcome it, you shall too, when you understand that law. He also stated that his desire was that we would be where he was. Most unfortunately, did we interpret what he meant was that he bodily was going to leave this place and go somewhere and take up residence somewhere else, and at a later date, we would be allowed to come to that same place where he was. When I truly believe that he was stating in essence that as he had believed in this one law, his desire was that we too would come to believe in that one law and that one law only, and therefore we would be where he is. For he was always with the Father, and that we would always be with the Father, meaning that we would be where the one law is in conscience. And then the telltale essence of what he said was that the Father always heard his desires and fulfilled them. So therefore, when we understand then that Jesus believed that by his word he would fulfill what God had for him to do, we also can understand that we too now can fulfill that, because God always gave Jesus what Jesus wanted, and Jesus wanted us to be where he was in relationship with the Father. And in John, 1 John, I think it is, 1 John says, And truly our relationship is with Jesus Christ and the Father. By your words shall you be justified or delivered, or by them you will be condemned or fail. Are my words that powerful? Do I actually control my fate? This is something that I must give my full attention to, not partiality. I must give my full attention to. Why? For the same reason that we give our full attention to things of the earth that mean something to us, we want to know everything about it so that we will not get blindsided. We want to be able to process as we have been told without a hitch. God is saying, give your full attention to me, the one law. Is my success actually dependent on what I believe and say? Wow. I'm going to ask that question again. Because if you'll notice, I'm putting a weight, an onus on your shoulders, on our shoulders. Is my success actually dependent on what I believe and say? In Job, it is written, you shall decree a thing, and it shall come to pass. But always, in believing that, I have believed, and I'm quite sure some of you have also, that there is a power that I can contact which my life can be enhanced by. You see, all of the scriptures have been interpreted to us that we can do or we can profit or we can benefit by, but it's always because we have made contact with something external to us, which then decides whether that thing is good for us or not. When the scripture says, by your words will you be justified. By your words, are you really, really watching over what you believe? Not what you say, what you believe. Why? Because you speak what you believe. So if you are walking around, or we are walking around saying somebody won't let me, somebody is doing this, some force is fighting against me, and it keeps me confused. Look at your belief, because it's your belief that spawned those words. I never thought that I am that power. In the past, I never accepted the fact that I have been given a great gift to believe and speak what I believe and see it materialize before me. And right here, I'm just going to put a little parentheses in. That thing you call the Kenny moment, now you're calling it your moment, aren't you? Because you realize it occurs because you believe in it. There was no God that was making you subservient to the forces of this world. At some point in time, the message got through your consciousness that if it worked for him, why can't it work for me? Just like it came to me and said, if it worked for Paul and John and Jesus, why can't it work for me? And if you have not made that step, I encourage you. If it worked, go straight to the head of the line. If it worked for Jesus, Oh, wow, you do go straight to the head of the line, don't you? Because you believe in it, they call you to the head of the line. Or they open a parking space. Or they give you the favor that you know you deserve, even if they don't want to. Why? Because you are beginning to believe that you are that power. And you don't have to reach a power external to you. It's by your words. All scripture, when looked at objectively, points directly to this fact that all power, the kingdom of heaven, is within me. Once again, we go back to last night. Jesus said, I give unto you the keys to the kingdom. Have we ever sat down and thought about the fact that he said, I give to you the keys to the kingdom? The only question I say then is, as some of you said today, what is the address of? I said, when I look at him and say, well, Jesus, what is the address of the kingdom? And he says, within you. Okay. So you've given me the keys to the kingdom. You've told me how the keys work. Whatsoever you bind or loose shall be. Is that by your words? That's by your belief. Just be aware of what you're believing, because you're taking in thoughts, millions of thoughts constantly. It's up to you to decide which one of those you're going to keep company with, or which one of those you're going to say, no, not today, not ever. The kingdom of heaven is within me. The keys to the kingdom I have, and they are explicit. Whatsoever you bind, whatsoever you loose, it shall be. Deductive reasoning by my words. So don't say, I don't know how to do that. Yes, you do. I just told you. Contemplate, and contemplate. And at some point you will hear a little voice behind you saying, oh, I see, that's it. And it begins to sprout in the soil from which you planted. There is no God out there to pray to. The essence of that God is within you. The words that I speak, now I realize they are spirit. They are alive. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God. And by him was all things made. And there was not anything made that was not made by him. Wow. That's in me. My word have I given them. I think it was David that said, thy word, O Lord, have I hid within my heart, that I might not sin against thee. Don't be too concerned about doing certain acts and whatnot that's going to displease God. God is not a personage. God is not a man. God is a process. And I'm not being demeaning when I say that. You are that process made visible. The words that I speak are spirit, and they are capable of and will express themselves openly, revealing what I truly believe. As I discard the belief that there is a power supposed without, that entertains my request, I find that I am that. What do I mean by that? Just to give you a little example. Those of you who are having those moments and recognizing that moment, you may be praying, okay, let me get my prayer together when I enter here or when I go here. At some point in time, guess what? You're going to forget that prayer. And you're going to realize you're in that moment and you didn't pray. What? Yeah. You're in that moment. That good thing is happening and you forgot to pray. Why? Because you planted that seed in fertile soil. And what does an apple tree, a grapevine, grass, flowers, what do they do in season? That's right. They automatically express the fruitage thereof because of the power source within them, the intelligence. That word planted in your soil, you took it past rocky soil. You took it past ground that didn't have a great depth to it. You took it past thorns and thistles. And you found that good soil. And that good soil responds. The only difference between it and the things that we see is that it responds all the time. Its fruitage is always ripe. As we talked last Sunday, they went into the valley of Segola. Segola was a fertile land where fruitage grew large and plentiful. And they were sent because it was the season of ripe grapes, simply meaning he didn't send them in August, September, September, October. He sent them in the harvest so they could see the fruitage. You are seeing the fruitage of prayer because what you believe is now being funneled and disciplined into the correct pathway that you may watch over it and choose rightly. The power that I am is belief-driven and responds as I direct it. Yeah, I realize I'm putting a lot of responsibility on you, but there's no other place to put it. You've seen the futility of trying to contact this God that we were told about, and he seems to be too busy or unaware, but we usually give him the benefit of the doubt. He didn't think that was good for me right now. No. He says, I have given you dominion. I have given you dominion over the works of my hands. From the belly, the mouth speaks. My speech actually tells all. I hear or feel the doubt or questioning within when I speak. If you're honest with yourself, you have said things and you've heard that little voice. Well, are you sure? You sure you want to say that? You really believe that? You've heard that little voice. And if you haven't, then I compliment you, because that questioning and that doubt, that's the one that's saying, you can't climb this mountain. You can't do this. So we go to work within ourselves to rid ourselves of the questioning and the doubt. I'm instructed to renew my mind with spiritual truth, that I may prove the will of God. I now can realize that God is not a personage, but a process resident within me by design. You know, we got to go find God. No, you don't have to go find God. He's nearer than hands and feet. nearer than breathing, closer than hands and feet. The only thing we have to become is disappointed or discouraged enough with life the way it is to where we turn. And I remember the day when I said, are you out there? If you are, reveal yourself and I will follow you for the rest of my life. And he did. What is God awaiting? Recognition of his presence. My heartfelt contemplation of this fact guarantees the flow of signs following a positive result. My recognition of the flowing signs prove that I have found the path of freedom. Blessings begin to come to me. And I should not be caught up in the blessing. I should be caught up in the recognition that brought them. A flow from my consciousness has been opened up, and it is destroying the human belief. Bread appears where there was not even a wheat plant planted. Money appears where there is none. Life appears in the mass of physical corruption. These things are proven because I have contemplated truth until an awakening light revealed to me that it shone itself in the darkness of my human belief, and my human beliefs are being dispelled. The glory of that from which I originated is now revealing itself openly. All power and authority, both in heaven and on earth, has its foundation within me. I need not look to a God or God power external for help, for I realize that I am spirit. The words that I speak express symbolically the fruitage of my belief. I'm going to say that again because that's where we need to focus. The words that I speak, because I am spirit, the words that I speak are energized to go forth and express symbolically, which is in the earth, the fruitage of my belief. The ground whereon I stand is holy ground. I have discovered something, a great something. I have been redeemed from the curse of the law. Trust me, the curse that you've been redeemed, the curse of the law, is simply human belief. God said, you will find me when you search for me with your whole heart. For I will dwell in the thick darkness. For you right now, if you close your eyes, what do you see? Thick darkness. That's how closely God is dwelling with us. I will dwell in that thick darkness. Your life is hid there with Christ. No human eye, I don't care how powerful he thinks he is, no human eye can come into that darkness to find you. No human belief can come into that darkness to find you. Nothing shall enter into that relationship, because in that darkness is light. Yes, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. By my words am I justified, for I am the way, the truth, and the life. God bless.